Jack, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. I really appreciate you joining me, you finding time exactly and willing to chat with me about your unique collection of cars. Talking about unique collection of cars, I'm just putting pieces together after chatting with you for a few seconds, and exactly I've seen one of your cars. I just remember, and after you mentioned a few words on the cars and coffee, back in the days exactly as I arrived here in Southwest Florida, and I went few first times to Cars and Coffee. Back then it was just regular car show, nothing so big as we have right now, because developed to pretty nice size car show. But yeah, I remember your car there exactly. That was, I think you mentioned Nash, yes? The red Nash.
Yeah, it might be. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I run into you several times in car shows. I'm not sure what we had that at that show.
Yeah, but you have unique taste exactly, because we're talking like even behind us. We have Nash. I met you with the PACKARD. How your love for cars and passion for cars developed?
Well, you find one that's available, and if it's an interesting car, you think you want to own it, you buy it and restore it, or sometimes they buy them restored and they never quite suit the new buyer, so you got to do some things to it to
Yes.
make it right. But they all change hands at some point. People get older and sell them, and it's a big hobby, and it's a well-organized hobby. And
Yes.
there's a lot of car clubs that are a lot of help to restoring cars.
Yes, but even myself, going to the car shows, and I have a huge passion for cars. You know, I've seen many classics. We're talking 30s, 40s, Fords, Chevys, 50s, muscle cars. What caught my eye when you were arriving to the car shows was exactly your taste. We're talking Nash, which we have behind. There's not many I've seen them on the car shows. We're talking PACKARD. I mean, majestic car, the lines and the front. And that's your taste there.
Well, it kind of happened. I didn't set out to buy 3 Nashes, but I just picked them up. I know a little about them, and Nashes were a very important part of automotive history. Charlie Nash was president of General Motors before he retired in the early teens, I think it was, and went into business building his own. And they were good cars, but they had trouble competing with the big 3, Ford, Chevy, and GM. But I just know a little about them, and when I've seen one for sale, I kind of looked into buying it, and ended up with 3 of them. But I enjoy them for the history I know of them.
Yes.
But every car has a story behind it.
Definitely.
And that's part of the hobby.
Yes. I mean, it's hobby for you, but as I'm chatting with my guests, I'm also, the big idea behind I'm calling this car vlog, car podcast, that I'm meeting gentlemen like you, and we have some unique story of restoration, story of purchase, story of owning the car for family for past 40, 50 years, but also focusing on passing this opportunity which I have with you guys here, experience your cars and your stories, pass this to European market where I'm from Poland. There is a pretty large automotive community too, talking about Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, Germany, Italy, and France, everyone around there. But also here, see if the next generation is coming. Guys in their teenage years or their 20s, or they're really taking the torch, I would call, from you, and gonna hold this and pass to the next generation.
Okay. you know, the car hobby evolves, but it's originally started out with early brass cars uh, and collections, and they were old and they were feeble and they were around because a lot of people just died off and left them alone, and they started collecting cars that were built around 1895 to 1915. And then it kind of evolved to, of course, Model Ts and Model A Fords are everywhere. They made so many of them that you can still buy them and restore them and buy every part for one. People, it seems like over the years, people decided to collect their cars in an era where they were in high school and couldn't afford to buy them. So when they get out in the world and get a job and they get successful with something, have a little spending money, they want to buy a hobby car, and it's something they would like to have had in high school, and that has moved right along. I was at school in the 50s, and I like 50s cars and 40s cars that were on the streets in those days, and you see something you really liked, and you think someday I'd like to have one. And today, it's into muscle cars. They're the cars of the 70s, and they're really nice cars, and they're not my flavor. But the people today that graduated and are out of childhood and into adulthood, that was what they saw in the streets and really wanted and liked them. And so it's moved along, and it'll keep going like that, I think. The market, the value of some of those early cars has dropped off vastly the last few years, and the 50s cars are starting to drop off now in value. They just, they're interesting cars, but they don't necessarily meet the interests of the people that age anymore. It's a moving target.
All right. I mean, you mentioned the brass cars. Isn't that how you started?
Well, I bought my first car was in a 1925 Ford Model T Roadster.
Wow.
And I restored it. And I think I paid $400 for it. And but it was in one piece, but it needed a lot of work. And I did it. I had the ability to do a lot of it myself. And I worked for a car dealer when I bought it. I was only 14 when I started there, and I was 18 when I bought the Model T. And I've owned a dozen Model Ts over the years, and I still have one. And Model A's came in and out, and the 50s cars came in, the 30s, 40s, 50s. They just came in. I've got a 50 Ford right here. Crestliner. It's an unusual car. And it's just an evolution and a hobby.
Yes, but it's again that we really, I appreciate, and that's what I'm trying also point in my little charts, that the next generation which is coming behind should appreciate too. Because you're how I call with my latest guest exactly, you're taking care of those cars. You're keeping them in a spectacular conditions, and we have opportunities to see those cars because your kindness, going to the car shows, showcasing them like all your cars and chatting about them and teaching. Myself and the next generation, older kids running around and teenagers, we coming to this car show. So that's pretty important, exactly.
Well, the cars have been a big part of my life. I like them, and I'm willing to invest in facilities and restoration and so on.
Yeah.
If if it wasn't that way, I could collect stamps or
Yeah.
coins or something.
Find something, some different hobby.
It's and it's some of them have different problems when they're getting into the hobby. And in any of them, money's usually a limiting factor.
Yeah.
I mean, even coins get ridiculously expensive at some point, and cars do too.
Talking about the hobbies exactly, because I've seen so many different toy cars on your walls. What's the story with that? Is there anything behind?
Okay, well, I'll give away my age. I was born in 1939, and the war broke out, World War II, in 1941. And everything that was usable went into scrap drives, and it was rationed. Things were rationed to buy shoes and clothes and food and sugar, and a lot of things were rationed. And so I never really, they didn't make any toys during the war, and if you had an old toy from an older sibling or something, it was into the scrap drive. So they all disappeared, kind of, and I kind of like them. I mean, they're kind of neat for guys into cars and so on. And I've got a lot of them. I've got little pedal cars, kiddie cars that were made shortly after the war. One of them's an airplane, and it doesn't really fly, but you pedal it around the yard. And it just interested me. I didn't have any toys till I was about 12, and that's too big to play with cars. And
so you're bringing back a little like collection from your years.
I'm doing it now. I'm pretty old to be playing with cars.
You're playing with the real ones. You enjoying car shows?
Oh yeah,
car shows, car museum.
Car shows attract car people, and I enjoy talking about them.
Yes.
And car guys always want to know about your car because they don't have one, and they're interested in cars. Most car people at a car show are car guys.
Yeah.
And they may own an old Falcon someplace that isn't showable, but it's theirs. And I think on a show field, one thing I've kind of learned is, well, let's say the guy with the worst car in the field is just as proud of it as the guy with the best car in the field.
Yeah, and that's the beauty, you know. I mean, on the end of the day, yes, there's some car shows where your car is getting judged and this and that, but every car, how you mentioned before, has this story. Every car got picked up, bought, restored, or built with some reason behind, and we are all unique, and we should and we do appreciate different vision and different guys with different cars. But talking about winning, exactly, you mentioned you got few times best in a car shows. And talking about, I mean, car shows, you attended some big ones too, yes? We're talking Pebble Beach or Amelia Island.
I've showed at Pebble Beach 4 times, and that's the World Series of car collecting. It's an invitational meet. You don't call and say, I want to bring my car to Pebble Beach. That doesn't happen. You get invited.
Wow.
And it's one car after the other. There's hundreds of cars on this golf course, and they're all prime examples. But I've had some nice cars and showed them, and I've had some health problems. I've cut back here a couple of times, and so they're not as big a burden at some points in my life as others. But right now I'm kind of retired, and I got lots of time, and I enjoy keeping them detailed and cleaned up. And
I mean, definitely this one is on my bucket list, the same Amelia Island. I hear that a lot, and this one is exactly closer here. I would like to definitely attend both of them. I've seen a little footage, amazing background, especially the California, right on the ocean there, on the golf course which you mentioned. But again, going back to your choice, because that's what I'm interested. The Nash was one, but the PACKARD, which that was the time when I met you exactly. What's the story with the PACKARD, with your PACKARD? Spectacular color. I mean, this green is just alive on your car.
Well, it's a 34 Packard and a 12-cylinder, and most people don't remember Packards today, but Packard for 70 years, maybe, not 70, but 56, 7 years, was the car. It was the best car built in this country, and they had good products, and they were expensive, but they were fine machines, and they made 12 cylinders and 8 cylinders, and they were very expensive. And Packard said it was a personal statement. You drove a Packard. That was, it was good. And a little side story, when World War II was on, we had airplanes flying around, and they were a little underpowered. And Rolls-Royce developed a design on an engine that was very powerful, and they wanted to build it and put it in the RP-51 Mustang. And this made the airplane so wonderful that they won the war for us. But Packard built them for Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce designed them, and they called them Rolls-Royce Merlin engines. But Rolls-Royce didn't build that many cars, and they didn't have assembly plants that could build in the tolerances and the volume they needed. So they were all built by Packard. Packard made the engines in the PT boats during the war. They were a high quality company, with limited production and high expenses. But there's a story behind every antique car.
Yes.
Yes. It goes on and on. It's kind of fun when you're in the hobby to know where these things started. The Studebaker started out building wagons and evolved into turn of the century, the 20th century. They got out of the wagon business and put engines in the wagons and evolved into cars.
And that's what is interesting for me, because I'm mentioning I came from Europe. I'm passionate about classic cars and hot rods and hot rod culture and American racing culture too, because the automotive world here is extending from the classic car culture and hot rod, but we have also drag racing, we have NASCAR, Indy, so it's a lot to talk about, but definitely it's like I'm learning something every day. Yeah, because there is how I mentioned, it's many classic cars, each and every one has some story, but when I've seen you pulling in the PACKARD, I'm like, wow, that's the view is just majestic view of the entire large hood, and you said 12 cylinders in it. It's got to be quite an experience to drive this car, and you're driving right now in next 8 years will be 100 years old car, looks like straight from factory.
Well, I had a Marmon a few years ago that had 16 cylinders. Wow. Cadillac and Marmon are the only ones that made 16-cylinder cars. And but they're out there. They made them, and the Duesenbergs are very valuable cars. But there's very few. There's only 100 people own Duesenbergs in private hands or in museums and stuff. But they're the holy grail of car collecting. But there's a lot of cars, and every one has a story behind it.
Yes.
And some are more valuable than others. Some people put a big price on, or a big emphasis on the value of the car. Other people just have a car that they just like it, and it's not worth a whole lot, but it's theirs. And they take it to car shows, and you look there and see and sort out what you like. And I've done a lot of car shows. I've been to Amelia Island and Meadowbrook Hall and the Byrne Foundation. And
any favorites?
Well, of course, Pebble Beach is but one that's going now is Amelia Island. It's a big show.
It's coming up, yes, it's coming up. We have next month.
And you don't walk in for nothing. It's an expensive trip even to look at them.
Yes,
but
yes.
They put on a lot of money.
But it's quite an experience.
A lot of money out to put the show on. It's on a golf course. You don't get a chance to drive around on the golf course.
Yeah. Tell me, because with your experience, your expertise, you mentioned the car museums. Any car museums would you recommend for me all over United States which I should visit?
There's a lot of museums, and they vary in size and quality. I think probably the best overall museum for automobiles is in Hickory Corners, Michigan. It's near Kalamazoo area, and it's absolutely astounding that somebody has put this collection of cars together, and there's hundreds and hundreds of cars to look at.
Wow. In
buildings that are set up like antique showrooms, like Cadillac and Ford and had showrooms back in the era, and they were like today. In their era, they were top-notch dealerships, and they've reproduced some of them or hauled them from someplace else and put them together, and they must have 500 cars there you can look at. You can look at good cars, and they're well presented, and you can walk around outside on this campus that you want to look at a certain kind of car, you can walk into an old showroom, and it's full of them.
Wow.
And there's a lot of expense involved, and it's very well run and very well financed.
Yeah, you mentioned the museums, and I will tell you, we are lucky here. Naples is quite a nice town, and we are definitely with the Collier Car Museum, Refs Institute, spectacular. I've been in, I did a little road trip to California, visit LA, visit Peterson Museum, one of the big one there too, but our is very nice. I mean, the selection of cars.
We're fortunate here in Naples to have a Collier Museum.
Yes.
But it's a very nice museum, and it has got every car in it is a very important car. But it's kind of a racing history
behind.
Most of the cars have been involved in some big race and won some big race. And Miles Collier was a race-oriented guy, and he ran around with race-oriented guys and put this package together. But it's a very nice museum for a real aficionado racing history.
Yes.
I was talking earlier about the Gilmore Museum. It's pretty much everything. You can go for a ride in a Model T. In fact, they'll teach you how to drive a Model T. You can ride one around, and you can do anything. It's just a little different flavor.
Yes.
But there's a lot of good museums.
Looking forward. I've never been in a Gilmore exactly. I'm looking forward, definitely.
You should do it.
Yeah.
If you like cars.
Touching one more car exactly which you share with me. The picture looks amazing. Was that Lincoln, 1927?
Lincoln?
Yes.
Yeah. That was one that I bought and restored, and it's the only one they made. They made a lot of Lincolns chassis, but they made a chassis for ambulances and hearses. It was an extended wheelbase, and the Fleetwood was owned by General Motors then, but they had a custom shop in Fleetwood, Pennsylvania, and they built this body on a Lincoln chassis, and it was sold in Paris.
Wow.
And survived World War II in Paris, hidden somewhere from the Germans, because they took everything that was of value from France, and they must have had it hidden in a barn somewhere with hay piled over it or something. But the history got real murky on the car. Mm-hmm. But it was somebody in France that was pretty well heeled, because it was a very expensive car. And so I bought it and restored it, and campaigned it on the show field circuit a number of times. And it was a beautiful, huge car. It's now in a museum in Anchorage, Alaska.
Anchorage, Alaska. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it won't see the road. It's just too much of a
valuable. Yeah, definitely piece of history. Piece of history. And talking about this car, talking about your cars, any favorites?
Well,
any one, two particular ones which really.
I guess. No, they're like kids, you know.
All
you shouldn't have favorites.
Yeah.
But
there
are some I like better than others. But everyone to buy them and restore them and so on, you've got to like them when you're done.
That's already, yeah. Anyway, Jack, I really appreciate it once again. Thank you for joining me.
I'm glad we did.
Looking forward to maybe a little ride in the future in your PACKARD. Thank you.
Okay.